Hello and welcome back to StarCraft II. I've got another ladder match here. This one between me and another Zerg player. TechPath, I think. Doesn't really matter. I'm terrible with these nicknames anyway. So, I've got a very interesting opening here for you guys. Please, just ignore the fact that I messed up as bad as I did with my split there. It happens every now and then. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the splitting or anything like that. I was told recently by a very friendly South African StarCraft player named Stebas. I think I'm saying that right. I never know the nicknames, I just said that, didn't I? Anyway, I was given a really solid ZVZ opening, or at least a Zerg opening that I think you could probably use in any matchup. I was told that this is what Destiny uses almost every single game, and yes, I realized that I sent that scout to the absolute wrong place. I don't know how I did as well as I did in this game, even with paying as little attention as I was, because you should know by now that on Shakuras Plateau, you can't in fact have your opponent spawn in there. And then I was like, oh damn, wait, he's not going to be there. There are only two possible spawns. So, this build, I'm going to just talk you through it as I go through it. And as I was saying, Destiny uses this almost exclusively every single game. He sort of swears by it, and he says that this is the one build to rule them all, because it's safe, it does what it needs to do, it's sort of immune to a lot of early game pressure and stuff like that, but it starts with just a pretty normal 13 pool. As you can see, I'm just waiting for it. I'm really ready, rearing to go. And one thing that's quite important that I'm doing right now, which I've actually been sort of slacking on recently, is a nice tight base build. And here I see that he threw down what must have been a 10 pool. Not a big deal. I was expecting some early pressure from him because he's got his gas down too, so some early speedling pressure, maybe some banelings thrown in there. You just never know in Zerg versus Zerg, but you never need to know because this build seems to work really well. So it starts off with a 13 pool, then you get a 15 gas down, and on 16 you get an overlord as well. So, well, obviously the 16 overlord is sort of a given. I mean, you knew that was coming out anyway, but get those drones on the gas as soon as it finishes, and once the spawning pool is done, immediately start the queen, and as soon as you have enough minerals, you throw down a spine crawler in your mineral line. And you know, the funny thing is, he told me this build on IRC, and he was telling me that you know, everything seems to work out so perfectly with this. You always have the exact right amount of minerals at the exact right time to do everything you want to do. So he's scouting me here. I didn't really care. It's not going to matter. I didn't think it would change his game plan at all. If I was him, I would have changed my game plan, especially if I saw that crawler going up there. But anyway, and when the queen is 75%, you throw down a roach warren, which I had just enough for. But then I was sort of distracted here by the fact that he was throwing down a spine crawler, and I didn't get more drones. You're supposed to drone to 20 after that. So you drone up to 20, and then you get roaches out as soon as the roach warren finishes. It should be synced up perfectly with the timing of your inject finishing. So, like, I did mess up that last bit of the build, but that's not a big deal. I think it still had the power to pull me through this game. I did get those last 3 drones. Now, I was like sort of staring at my screen wondering, now, what went wrong here? I'm not on 20 supply yet. So, I would have had a few extra larvae. That's pretty much what would have changed there. I would have probably been able to get 1 or 2 extra roaches out when that roach warren popped. So, the roach warren did in fact pop. I started a couple of roaches, and I was happy that I had the Zalnaga tower as well. I think I should have probably scouted with that one of those 2 Zerglings just to check what he was doing. That's another thing I didn't do here. I could have had my overlords placed a little bit better. The one that was at the top right hand spawn, I could have moved that down towards his base to check on his natural. I didn't do that. But I was still quite happy with how the game was going so far. But when I saw that, then I knew my time was running out pretty quickly. Speedlings running across the map. I wasn't sure what he was going to do with them yet. I thought just sort of a run-by kind of thing. So I positioned my roaches as well as I could. They're on hold position right now. I think I could have had them a little bit closer towards the bottom of my base so that the drones weren't as exposed as they were. But I had a lot more roaches come in. I wanted to clog the holes up here that I had. You'll see now, I'm hold positioning where they need to be. And then the pathing just wasn't working with me. I don't know why, but anyway, these roaches just couldn't find their way around. I realized he was chilling at the bottom of my base, and I knew that had to be banelings come in. He wouldn't wait for nothing, so I knew he was coming in with banelings. I'll have a look down there right now. You'll see in just a second. But I was really happy with my positioning of my roaches there. I think I blocked most of the damage that happened here. As you can see, the banelings all running in there, blowing up on my extractor and one roach. I think he took down 2 drones in the process, if even that. And then I was left with a bunch of roaches, pretty much all my drones intact, and he lost a lot there. A lot of speedlings, quite a few banelings, and if he had spent the money that he did on those banelings, the gas that he did on those banelings, then he would probably be quite a bit behind me right now. So what I could have done right now is I had the opportunity to expand. As you can see, I had the minerals for that. I got my speed in the meantime, as you would have seen as well. And it just finished as I moved out, so that was really good timing as well. And that's the nice thing about this build, you can do what you want. I could have had my lair earlier as well if I wanted that, but I decided speed would be better, and it finished at exactly the right time. And then I push into his base. He's busy trying to defend, furiously throwing up spine crawlers here, but it wasn't in time for him. He had hardly any combative units out. His saturation was probably a lot lower than mine. I didn't check the replay, but he just wasn't ready for this. He wasn't ready for the roaches, he wasn't ready for these speedlings in his base, so his pressure was thwarted pretty much instantly when he ran into my well-defended base, and I just felt like that opening worked really well for me. And for some reason I didn't get input limit reached here. I could actually check his profile out, and he's ranked a lot higher than me, so I felt good about that win. I was really happy with it. The strat worked well. I'm definitely going to try it again. I have to tell you now, I was running that strat off a little piece of paper lying next to my desk here. One thing I didn't mention is that after you drone to 20, you need another overlord and then roaches, because those roaches fill your supply up really quickly. And don't take this as a guide. It's sort of just me explaining to you how well this build worked for me. If you want to see the build done properly, just watch, I think, most of Destiny's ZVZ games. He does this, and it's a good way to learn it. Just watch what he does, copy it, and maybe watch his lessons that he gives to other people. That helps too. But I just thought I'd sort of showcase it and say a bit of a thanks to the guy that explained it to me and said that, you know, this will help you out with all your ZVZ games, because that's one of the things you guys kept telling me, have a game plan. And I had a game plan this time, and it worked out really well. I like the fact that you can be flexible, you can bounce off it in any way you like, you can tech up, you can go for your expansion, you can put on pressure like I did immediately, make him buckle. Overall, just a lot of fun and a really cool build. Let me know what you guys think about it. Is there anything I can refine with it? I mean, I know this was the first time I did it. I can definitely do it better if I practice a little bit, but still, a lot of fun. So, thanks for watching, and happy StarCrafting.